Welcome to Survivalist Media. I'm your host, Wiley Peacock, and today we'll be reviewing my EDC bag. This is a fairly new bag to my EDC. I normally carry the Blackhawk 3-day pack as a larger backpack style pack, and I also have the 511 push pack, which is a man purse style pack. So I needed something just a little bit bigger than my push pack, which is a good sort of cool weather pack when you have to wear a coat or longer clothes all day long, so you have a little bit more of that seasonal gear already on your person. So when I upgraded to the Rush 10, I was actually pleasantly surprised. I thought it would be a lot harder. I did a lot of research. Didn't like the sling packs by Maxpedition because they weren't ambidextrous. Sometimes my shoulder gets a little sore. I also ride bicycle and stuff like that from carrying the pack one way, and I like to be able to switch. I guess to start out, we'll go over some of the things on the outside of the pack. I have about 30 feet of paracord here. I use off of this all the time, and I just have it laced through the MOLLE webbing. I can just pull out the length that I need, snip it off, use it. When it gets fairly used up, I move it to a different part of the pack and reload this. And I think it's a good way to carry paracord and have it handy and ready to use and ready to snip right away without having to untie anything. You know, oftentimes when you have it bundled in your pack, it takes so long to get to it that you consider using something else instead. My favorite morale patch I've ever found here, this is KITD-FOHS, and that stands for Kept in the Dark, Fed Only Horseshit. Then I have these Night Eyes carabiners with the figure 9 attachment on there. That's for paracord too, and the combination of these two things plus paracord, I can lash a whole lot to this pack, or lash stuff down in the Jeep with paracord. These things have turned out to be really handy. We have a few of the speed clips from Blackhawk to make attaching things to the MOLLEs a little bit easier if they don't have the MOLLE attachment right away. You can also do some interesting adaptation with paracord because they have these little loops in the bottom. I have an extra Manta Ring key ring. Over here on this side I have a full-size climbing carabiner, and this is really just for holding my water bottle or what have you. Plus, having a full climbing carabiner means that you can use it to be load-bearing as needed, which is nice. Here I have a Benchmade strap cutter. This is the medical one with the wrench for air tool or for air tanks. I like to use this tool only in an emergency situation, but I like the medical version because it has 3 fingers, and these are great. You don't just use them for strap cutting. I had a friend injured while hunting, and his foot was injured badly, and we couldn't have him point it. It was already swollen in the boot. We couldn't have him point it to get it back out of his 8-inch boot, so we actually cut the boots with these. It worked great. I mean, and great emergency situation. Just sliced right through the leather. Now I won't be without one. This was buried deep in my pack. I thought, geez, if you need to get out of a situation, your boot is trapped or something like that, great way to pop all the laces on your boot if you're, trapped underwater or something like that. Awesome tool to have on the outside of a bag, and much less threatening than, say, a full-on survival knife, which is something that would easily MOLLE to the outside of the bag, but I try not to carry any of the big survival knives when I'm out in person. Here is a Casio G-Shock data bank. It's actually my old watch. I have several of the G-Shocks. This one served me well. On the side of the bag, I always carry my Leatherman Skeletool. This is the Leatherman that works out best for me as a large Leatherman. It's got access to the screwdriver. I've had several of the CX series. They always get lost. Decided to buy the cheap one. It has been here for 3 years. Never gone anywhere. But I keep that on the outside for easy access. Let's turn this around here real quick. I get a little bit more paracord looped up here, and a couple more of the Blackhawk speed clips. I keep this little loop of paracord tied up and kind of tied into my MOLLE webbing on the other half of this strap. See, this strap tucks away behind here, and a left-handed, right-handed strap can be interchanged. And attached to the edge of that strap I have this. I have to carry a walking cane with me a lot of the time, and sometimes you don't need it. Sometimes you just want to hang it somewhere, so I can kind of reach back and hang my cane there. I don't have to use it as often. My balance is coming back a whole lot better, but when I get tired, it's nice to have something to give a little bit of added support. This is a really neat setup that I did as far as a configuration. I keep the media pocket fairly empty, sometimes a handkerchief, sometimes my phone. It all fits in there, sometimes just a couple stacks, but it's kind of a universal pocket, and I don't necessarily keep anything specific in there, especially if I already have my cell phone in my pocket. But what I did is I took one of these Night Eyes lights that's on a Night Eyes tie, wrap tie. It's on a 13-inch or 12-inch wrap tie, and the light is affixed to the tie. And then it can be extended out of the pack. It can be high up above my head as a mobile beacon. It has blink feature and stuff like that. But most of the time, I can just turn the light on. Okay, and the light's on there. And then just attach to the strap without even pulling it out. It's great for lighting the inside compartments of the bag as I go through them, just by flipping the strap over. So I thought that was pretty clever, and if you have one of these Rush 10 packs, it's a great way to keep a little light on the situation, plus have a nice signal light if you're walking down the street at night. It's a great setup. This is something that's always bothered me. I have the flag patch here. When you carry it, now my flag patch is upside down. If I flip it over, though, when it sits in my car, which is where it sits most of the time, my flag patch is upside down. So I keep the flag patch right side up for the most part and hope nobody sees me flying an upside down flag. I mean, there's definitely some stuff I'm against here in the United States, but I think it's kind of unpatriotic to say that the nation is against you like that. So I'm not trying to make any statements. It's just hard to decide what way that flag patch should go. Maybe I'll just switch it out. You know, I have other patches, but you know, I'm an all-American guy. I like being patriotic. This is an eyeglasses case here on the next step down, and all I have in there is an eyeglasses cleaning cloth. But normally I would put my spectacles in there or my sunglasses interchangeably as needed. Okay, so I'm going to skip the main pocket. We'll come back to that, and then we'll just break in here to the admin pocket. The admin pocket's this pocket on the front of the bag. It does open nice and full. I've got a 5mm green laser. It's an astronomy laser. I'm just a nerd. I like the astronomy laser. I also like it when we're out in the field and stuff, and I'm like, oh, hey, check out that deer, or hey, check out that, you know, bird over there. I can use this for pointing, and animals don't seem to be alarmed by the green laser, so that's pretty cool. This is one of my spare GPSs. I have a couple GPSs in various packs, but this one I carry just to have around as an extra. I've got some lithium batteries in there. Don't use GPS too often, not a whole lot of need for it, but I always feel like having that instead of a compass is a little bit better idea. And then here, just so you know, I'm going through, these has a couple of magazine pockets. You could actually hold like 2 25-round AR mags if you're into AR, but I just use it for general storage. Okay, here's my couple of bits of strappage, strap. It fits through the MOLLE webbing. You can use it to affix anything to the MOLLE webbing in any way you'd like. With the combination of the Blackhawk, you can flip things sideways, so it's good for my coat. Use the Blackhawk keepers that way. In the bottom of this bag, I have a Cliff Bar. Just one of the little ones. Kind of gives you a little something if you get caught out there. I do carry some more food storage in here if I'm going on, you know, in a situation where I know I won't have access to food. I have a little Outer Armor beanie. This is a nice light beanie. Really more or less just for covering up my head. Sun and stuff like that if I feel like I'm getting a little too much sun. Nice light little tool there. Here's my day med pouch. This is sort of a light duty med pouch. It's really more about comfort than it is about any medical situation, but I keep it in this because it comes out and fits in a cargo pocket. That way if I leave the car or anything, this is the med pouch that I take with me always. You know, if we go on a short hike or have a job out in the field. I do some videography, cinematography for outdoor companies, and we do a lot of filming out in the field. And inside it I have a couple of plasters, band-aids if you want to call them that, some paper tape. I like this. This also has a small hank of gaffer's tape around the outside that can be reused. Gaffer's tape's pretty handy that way. We've gone over this before. This is moved into this bag. This is all the important information that I have. Marriage certificates, all that stuff is all encrypted on this little titanium drive. Okay. I have a bag of various medications that I take, antidiarrheals, Tums. Got the low-dose aspirin. That's really good. I don't have a heart condition and don't really need to take the low-dose aspirin, but it's nice to be able to set your aspirin dose pretty low and work your way up. That way you don't have to overdose or anything. Then I have some ibuprofen, which I feel a lot more comfortable taking higher doses of that. Plus it's not as much of a blood thinner as the aspirin is, so if it's a bleeding pain that we're dealing with, it's not best to take the aspirin. Okay. And then other than that, I have quite a few alcohol swabs. And the reason I have so many is because I don't just use them for medical. These clean up and sanitize anything. They're great for sterilization of just about everything. And so I really, unabashedly carry quite a few of them. I like to have, at least 5. I use 5 a day all the time. And as far as the alcohol swabs go, it's not unheard of for me to carry 10 or 12 just because sometimes I forget to refill the pack. So that's that side of my little medical pouch there. Moving to this side, I have some Repel. The label came off, so I taped on the part that matters the most. This is some all-natural stuff. I do have the Super DEET stuff. If I feel like I'm going into a situation where I know I'll have bugs, I'll switch that out. But I prefer the natural. It doesn't melt your clothing and stuff like that, which the DEET stuff, if it gets on your nylon, can cause trouble. Then some hand sanitizer, and then this is some facial sunscreen. Just a little something for your nose and eyes. It doesn't run in your eyes, doesn't make your eyes burn when it gets in there. And then a little bubble compass. And this is really more about just double checking the main compass I have in the bag, but it's nice to have. And then here's another airtight thing of some plasters. These are not in a bag. This is in a airtight bag. And the idea there is if this whole thing gets wet, it's nice to have some dry bandages. Bandages kind of die if they get wet. They don't tend to dry out and stick again real well if they've got wet once already. So there's my little pocket medical bag, my just in case, carry all the time medical possibles bag, and that's in a Maxpedition mini pocket carry. So on the clips in here, okay, so that empties out that and that. Sometimes in here I'll also have like the baggies for the dog poop and stuff like that. So I'll move on to these clips. On this clip I have a good Brunton compass. It's a very high quality compass. I've always been happy with the readings that it gives, and it's pointing north right now. And then I have this little signal light, and it is a smashing little signal light. I really like it. Go ahead and clip that back to that. That kind of goes with the compass. That way I can clip it onto my shirt or my backpack strap, what have you, so it's actually out. Always good to have your compass working while you're using it. Little signal light. This strap's really great to any of the molly webbing. If I'm walking the dogs and stuff, I have little dogs, so people are less likely to see the dogs even though they can see me, so I take and strap that signal light to them. Here's a backup set of earbud. I have only one working ear, so I only need the one earbud. And here's a nice collection of 3 of the night eye twist tie things. These attach anything and everything to mollies really well. Love these little night eye twist ties. I kind of was skeptical at first, but now I buy them whenever I get the chance. I love those things. A couple of no pull rubber hair bands. They're just a nicer rubber band. I also use the elastic ones, but these round rubber ones are pretty durable and tough too, and get wet and stay rubbery instead of rubber bands, which tend to dry out after they get wet. And then this is an outdoor spoon and sort of knife spatula kit thing that I keep around just in case I need some eating tools. This is my Maglite AAA LED light. It's good light. Those are actually really bright. For the money, they're great, and I try not to spend too much when it comes to this. These are for keeping the little Night Eyes S-beaners. They come with a set of nice Night Eyes S-beaners, and I use those all over my kit. The mini S-beaner, really great thing, plus all the other little clips you can clip to them. Kind of keeps things organized. Okay, here I have a blue shop towel with some gray tape inside. That's it. That's in the card pocket there. It's wrapped around a card. Just good to have gray tape and a shop towel. Really nothing you can't do with those two things, and together they actually make a pretty good bandage. Here I have a tactical pen. This came as part of a gift set. I think it's a Kershaw tactical pen. And if I reach in a little bit deeper here, I get these zip ties, just some little white zip ties. Try to keep those handy. And then in the zippered pocket inside the admin pocket, I have a bandana. I keep several of those on my person, and sometimes keep more in this bag. There again, just one of those items that, especially if you're willing to modify it, if you're willing to cut it apart, there's nothing you can't ultimately do with it. And it looks like that empties out. Yep, that empties out all of my admin pocket on this. Okay. Then we move here. Take the retention straps off. These, I like compression straps, but I would like a set on the bottom and the top. That way you can actually make the bag smaller. The compression straps on the top tend just to be good for holding an oddly weighted item, like if it's top heavy, closer to your back type of a thing, instead of pulling and putting all the weight on the bag itself. Okay, here I have just, well, we'll go through these kits a little bit better, but this is just cell phone waterproofing, cell phone cords. I have a little multi-unit in there that both plugs into a car or the wall, another cleaning cloth, and things to keep my, this is my electronic bivvy, I guess. You know, this is what keeps me urban and functional. Plus has all the accessories to run the GPS and all the other electronics. I'm not going to dig into this. You've all seen phone cords before. There's nothing cool in here other than the two OtterBox cases that everything is in. Here I've gone with a Pelican case, and this has all my extra batteries in it and another cleaning cloth. So I have this little cleaning cloth here, plus a Lansky knife sharpener. A lot of guys are using the Smith. And I'll do a better review on this later, but I use the Lansky knife sharpener, and man, this thing works. And the reason I like the Lansky is the diamond tip locks out, and in the Smith it just kind of flops around there. But if you're working on something, you need that to be like a usable tool. You don't want to be all, and it's short on the Smith. It's about a ½ inch longer, or 2 inches, you know, an inch shorter, a ½ inch longer on the Lansky tool. And I like the way the diamond bar locks in there. And really, you know, unless you need to reshape your blade, you can pretty much resharpen everything with just this and the leather strap. It's not really necessary to use the, you know, unless you need to re-bevel an edge. It's got carbide and ceramic for that. Then in with my batteries, I've got one of the silica gel cases, just to make sure if any moisture does get in there, or if it's just a moist day and I close this airtight case and trap moisture in there and it doesn't get out through the little Pelican air valve, it's going to get sucked up by the silicate gel. But I've got 2 pairs of AA batteries that are separated, and then a dozen AAA batteries. And I tried to stay with mostly AAA batteries in my kit, but sometimes with things like GPS, some of the higher powered equipment, they only come in a AA. And I just didn't want to carry AA's because it makes your equipment that much bigger to have the AA items in there. So there's a really thorough battery kit, and sometimes I lower that down. Sometimes I only take 6 AA's and just count on my AA kit not running out, or just 1 pair of the AA's and 6 AA's. But it's important to keep it in a case where if any of your batteries leak, they aren't going to go anywhere, you know, and it's just going to corrupt other batteries, kind of save the rest of your kit from itself. Now I also carry an Eagle Creek purse. I actually like the purses because they have more pockets than just the Eagle Creek organizer bags. In green, that has food in it. All I do is put Skittles and granola bars and little light lunch items that eat automatically, don't require any heating or anything like that, or refrigeration. And I keep all that stuff together in my green bag. But I haven't added that today, and I usually don't carry that. In here, I have a backpacking long sleeve shirt that's just a lightweight acrylic. And it's good for both warmth and for sun deterrence, and it keeps the sun off of you. And there's a lot of extra room in the body of this bag to wear just a long sleeve dress shirt, or keep a long sleeve dress shirt in there for more sun protection. But this is a just in case sun protection, and an extra pair of underwear and socks. This is like, you know, like I said, I do a lot of filming outdoors. I could fall in a creek, it happens. You know, I'm not afraid to say that I've done stupider things, that's for sure. Then toilet paper. This toilet paper is in another watertight bag, and stuffed inside the center of the roll is some waterproof matches and some more alcohol swabs and a little bit of athletic tape, just to have sort of some basics on emergency and stuff like that, if there were any type of emergency bag. I guess I should open this up so you can see the inside. Here's the glasses bag in there. And this is a retention that passes through for either the water bottle on the other side of this, or in this case I use it for key loot a lot of the time. Okay, here I have my medical kit, and this deserves its own review, but again I use an Eagle Creek purse. Like I said, you get a lot more pockets, and it's about the same size as their organizer bags. I have iodine, 10% tincture. That is actually hard to find these days. I found that in an old medical kit. I've got the wet wipes and a few other odds and ends. I've got lip balm in there. I've got aspirin tablets, earplugs, and then multiple little Tweezman tools. I've got the Tweezman mini here. First of all, we got some wet fire and a Bic lighter, and I've got the Tweezman mini tweezers, the Tweezman mini fingernail clippers, and a little tiny Leatherman style. This is the one that's airplane safe. I can fly with this bag. It has no knives in it, this emergency bag here, so it's all airline approved. In the main pocket here, I have this little ditty. This has some extra batteries for, Streamlight Nano. I carry those. This is extra batteries for the Streamlight Nano, some various medications that I like to take and have around, and a little more thorough than my mini medi. Some antibiotic ointment, medical tape, more medical tape, alcohol swabs, and several plasters and stuff of different size, plus some stingies. Nice if you get stung, and we have a lot of wasps and issues with that sort of stuff around here, so that's a great thing. Then I have spray-on sunscreen, SPF 24. This is just a just-in-case sunscreen. More Repel, natural, and some more gray tape. I have one that I use off of, and then a full one, and then once I start using off of this full, I'll replace it with another full, or I'll add more tape to this card. But it's just nice to have a lot of gray tape, I think. It doubles for every other type of tape, plus you can do a lot more automotive and heavier dutier tasks. A lot of guys I see carrying the Gorilla Tape. It's been my experience with Gorilla Tape that it has so much glue on it that it just does not work as good as a regular duct tape. I find it kind of insulting. I think it's really sticky, but if all those guys are actually using their Gorilla Tape, like I use my gray tape to fix cars and put pieces back together on things that are going to be going 60 miles an hour, I think they'll find that it is not what they expected. It will just pull, and it will pull these big glue strands off the bottom of the tape, and you'll wind up with this big long sticky mess of tape that didn't hold still. Big bummer. Big bummer, Gorilla Tape. I love Gorilla Glue. Hate Gorilla Tape. I'm even kind of starting to hate Gorilla Glue, so maybe I shouldn't give it that much credit. So we'll toss its waterproof bag down there. And then zip ties. Now, I'm not really into the military, restraining somebody with zip ties kind of a thing, and I always worry that somebody's going to misconstrue carrying around 2 big zip ties like this is like, oh, he's going to restrain somebody. It's a, kit for bad deeds. And some more of the white zip ties that are little, those I use most often. Big zip ties, they'll hold anything. And then here's some medium zip ties. I have those too. I kind of like having a variety. These white ones I use all the time for like tying up wires and stuff like that. It's best to have as many of those white zip ties as you can get. I'll keep those out. Those are in a different pocket. Okay, and this is the mesh pockets on the inside. There's actually 4 mesh pockets, even though it only looks like there's 2. And then I keep this kind of empty, but it's kind of nice because you can put like a portable rain jacket or a portable umbrella in this, and it kind of keeps it separate from the rest of your stuff, especially if it goes in a little bit wet, which those things sometimes can, and you still want to get them home. Okay, so that empties out my main pocket here. Back here we have the bladder storage. It's kind of a unique situation for bladder storage. I don't use a water bladder, and this is my admin wallet. I stopped carrying a lot of my extra cards, so my library card and a few other odds and ends get put in here, plus the extra version of Discover US Bank and Credit Union card. Plus I have checks back here. It's just a few loose checks, and some extra cash here. Smith & Wesson tactical pens, some alcohol swabs, 64 gigabyte hard drive, and a razor blade, and some gaffer's tape. Yep, that's pretty much the admin wallet there. It's the Spec Ops checkbook wallet. I just got the big one because I thought I needed some extra space. Alright, that basically cleans out the entire pack except for the super secret area in here. And there, I've got my SIG. And down in the bottom, I've got an extra mag. It didn't come with a holster. You have to buy the holster separate. I happen to have some holsters in my gun safe that worked perfectly, that were Velcro, the right type of Velcro on the right side, and I put it in there, and that works great. That works awesome. There it is, folks. Comment, subscribe, and like my video down below. I'd really appreciate that. Kind of new to this, so getting every bit of likes that I can will be helpful, and if enough people start following me, well, I'll keep this up to date if you're interested. I would be. I'm interested in everybody else's EDCs. So there you have it. EDC pack, Rush 10, with MOLLE webbing, packed to the gills, and this is what you get out of the deal, plus room to carry your jacket. Thanks for watching.